order as soon as we get the machines running here. Okay, this is the meeting of the Park Committee for Wednesday, July 12th, 2017, 4 p.m. We have Alderman Andy Nicholson, Alderman John Vanderleest, myself, Alderman Dave Nennig. Alderman Chris Weary is out of town and asked to be excused, so we'll make that. The first item is approval of the minutes of the last meeting. We have a motion by Alderman Nicholson, second by Alderman Vanderleest, to approve the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections? Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest, to adopt the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. First item, and we try to put our items in order of importance. So, first item is consideration with possible action on accepting the donation of a Ferris wheel by the Friends of Bay Beach at Bay Beach Amusement Park. So, Donnie?
Okay. As you're all aware, we are the Friends of Bay Beach who have joined us and worked jointly with us to develop and fund a 20-year master plan for Bay Beach Amusement Park. They have already committed and worked endlessly to fulfill this pledge of raising $5 million to help build out the plan. We are truly grateful for this relationship and to work with a group that is so generous with their time and efforts. Previously, they have worked jointly with us to provide the Bay Beast, the Sea Dragon, the Rockin' Pug, and of course our new ride this year, the Falling Star, as well as other multiple projects. Tonight they are here to discuss the donation of a big wheel. I'd like you to open the floor and let them propose.
Motion to open the floor, interested parties.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vanderleest, to open the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, would you like to come forward and give us the news?
Okay, my name is Robert Shade. I'm representing the Friends of Bay Beach and our wonderful donors from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We are here, and I have a document. Do you have copies of this?
Yes, I.
Okay, we have copies of a memo here, and what we're proposing is the Friends of Bay Beach have agreed to cover the entire cost of purchasing and installing a new 96-foot or 108-foot Ferris wheel. And this amounts to approximately $2.1 million. We have cash in hand. No fundraising will be required to fulfill this commitment. We're prepared to order the big wheel by August 1st. This is an important date. And the reason is that we could then have it in by April of 2019. And this would be assuming permitting and engineering. So there is some timing associated with this. As a result of the 20-year renovation plan, Park Resources will be required to accomplish many things. The Friends of Bay Beach are asking the mayor and city council to guarantee that no Bay Beach revenues will be pledged to borrow against or be borrowed against for the next 5 years, so basically until 2022. Is further agreed that the funding of the beach and boardwalk bathhouses will come from sources other than the Bay Beach revenue. It's a very big project. We've looked at it. We've prioritized what we're doing. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring revenue producing assets so that all of the non-revenue producing assets will have funds in the future. So that's why this request is there, is we're trying to get the revenue producing assets there first. Please keep in mind that a lot of the funds and the Park Commission funds are committed for the next 2.5 years to do lots of projects that are on the dockets, fixing the trains, doing lots of things. And we also have a roller coaster debt through 2020. To this end, we ask the support of the committee, to the city council to guarantee the Friends of Bay Beach that there will be no borrowing or leveraging of Bay Beach revenues through 2022. And as the current revenues need to be reinvested in the park to ensure that we meet the plan that was originally funded and approved. We look forward to our continued partnership, friendship, and construction of the big wheel at the Bay Beach as soon as possible. So what we're really asking is to donate a Ferris wheel to you so that we can keep generating revenues and the park can keep renovating for all the future generations. Thank you.
It's very generous. Thank you, Bob. The other folks like to speak?
Yeah, I'm Al Hamir, also a member of Friends of Bay Beach. One of the things that Rob didn't say is As we go through our day-to-day type things, one of the things that's very dear to my heart is right now the tickets are 25 cents. So for the time that I'm here on earth, I would like to see the tickets remain at 25 cents for as long as I'm here. And by doing these types of things, we can create that revenue and it's gonna be sustainable. So that's one of the other things that I wanted to personally share with you guys, to just say that we can't do it at 10 cents anymore, but 25 cents, I think we can make that sustainable for the next, 25, 50 years, for the next generation. Thanks.
Okay,
I'm good.
okay. Oh, very good.
Motion to return to
Anyone
regular order
else want to
business.
speak before we return to the regular order? Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Nicholson, second by Alderman Vanderleest to return to the regular order of business. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Donnie, do you have any comments or thoughts here? And
Well, this
how do we accomplish this?
Well, this is a really great thing that the Friends are trying to accomplish for us. As you know, this is no tax dollars here. This is funded solely by the Friends of Bay Beach, and they're buying the wheel and they're paying for the installation of the wheel. Anything else, Dan, that you would add?
No. Do you know where it's going to be?
We're working on that right now. We're trying to get through with the DNR and some permits of where it could possibly go.
Okay. In terms of the commitment to not borrow against the Bay Beach Revenue Fund, are there any problems with that?
No. As you know,
Do we
currently.
pass a resolution, or what do we do to?
No, as you know, currently, right now, we already keep the Bay Beach funds and the Bay Beach thing, just so we can move out the park and build out the park. That's our sole source of revenue. And so, we already have permission to do that. But what they're saying is, what they don't want to have happen is that we borrow some of the revenue that we currently have in the Friends of Bay Beach to help with the beach and the parking lot, the beach, the bathhouse, and the pier. And the reason for that is, when we did the master plan, it was built out in 2022 to look at that. That was part of phase 2 of the master plan. We are still in phase 1. So we're trying to follow what we projected out so that we can make the revenues that we need to do to build the park out.
Okay, any discussion or questions?
I'd say motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the acceptance of the donation and to agree to the, recommit or
They agree to the terms.
to agree to the terms
Brought forward.
that are suggested. Okay, that do it?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay,
Sounds like a very
John?
nice program. Sounds
Yeah.
like a very
Yeah.
nice addition. to Bay
Yeah,
Beach.
it is a wonderful thing. We have a lot of difficult decisions to make sometimes at the city council. This is one of the easiest ones, but yet something that has a real impact on the future of the community. And, I think the vision that the Friends of Bay Beach have shown and their commitment to making that happen, to improve this asset of the community, is really a wonderful thing. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of the Park Committee and members of the council and telling you that we are very, very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a terrific effort. So with that, I'll take a vote on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving on.
Okay, number 2. Consideration with possible action on transferring an existing 25-foot wide driveway lease in Joannes Park to the new property owner at 1485 Kurtz Avenue. In our packet, there was a map that shows the existing easement. It's next to the parking area, between the parking area and a residential property, and this has been in place for quite a while, right?
Right. Okay, so this is a single-family residence just east of First Avenue parking lot in Joannes Park. In 2004, the property was sold to a new owner. Prior to 2004, the previous owner built a driveway on city property without approval. Sure. So the park committee at that time and the city worked with them And the owner then realized, hey, I'm on city property. In 2004, the Parks Department worked with the owner and the park committee to approve a driveway lease with the new owner. The property now is just been recently sold. In order for the driveway lease to remain current, we have to transfer it to a new owner. This has been reviewed by the law department, and we don't have any concerns with this.
Motion to approve?
Okay, motion by Alderman Nicholson, seconded by Alderman Vandelis to approve. Is there anyone here that's interested in this item? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, consideration with possible action on a request by Erie Road Development to accept a donation of parkland as part of the Grandview Place Development Subdivision plat. Delaney?
Okay. Erie Road Development currently owns a large plot of land located between Erie Road and Grandview Road. It's north of Finger Road. The developer has been working with the planning department for several years to approve a traditional neighborhood development. This proposed neighborhood development would be subdivided and built in phases. The first phase the developer is proposing is what you see on the map there, is to subdivide. It's called Grandview Place. The Grandview Place subdivision plan is currently being reviewed by the city. It consists of 15 single-family, 22 townhouses, and 134 multi-family units. A stormwater pond and a trail will also be constructed in this phase. As part of the Grandview Place subdivision plat approval, the developer is proposing to donate some parkland to the city in lieu of the parkland fee. Our current parkland fee is $350 per dwelling unit. There are 172 dwelling units for a total of $60,200. The developer is proposing to donate outlet 4, which will be a 1.8 acre parcel. It's all wooded.
If you look at the second page, that highlights the donation, the green areas. It's kind of a blow-up of the first page.
The park department owns the adjacent wooden property, as you can see on the map on the top there. This would be a good donation to the parkland. The property would remain natural if we owned it. The developer is also proposing a 20-foot strip of land for a multi-trail use. After the development is complete, this trail will link to the north of the development and will link into the north branch of Bears Creek. The developer will be required to pay for and install a 10-foot wide asphalt trail along the stretch of the property. The trail will be constructed at the same time the roads are put in. After the trail is completed, the Parks Department will take ownership and maintenance of that trail. The City Assessor's Office has determined that the donated property is valued at $22,500. Since the parkland fee for this development is $60,200, staff would recommend that the city accept the donation and subtract the value of the land owned for the parkland fee. If approved, the city would take ownership of the land, and the developer will have to pay $37,700 in parkland fees for the development. Now, additional fees will be determined for each phase of this development. This is just the first phase of that development. Any questions?
No, I think we've done this sort of thing before. Mr. Bunker's here. Do you have anything you want to add?
The only thing I have a question.
We'll suspend the rules. Take a motion by Alderman Vandelis, second by Alderman Nicholson to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, John.
Can I see that plan? I haven't seen that.
Oh.
Thank you. And that 10-foot wide trail is paid by us?
Correct. At the time the roads are put in, the trail would go in.
All right. So we're not getting credited for any of the, putting that pathway in for you guys?
Correct.
Is there any consideration that you would, whatever that would cost us would come off the parkland fees? No?
Why not, Donnie?
Well, I don't think, well, this was already talked about and brought through planning, and this is the agreement they had made. So I guess if we had to go back, we'd have to go back and look at that and see what the cost of it would be. And we're already taking over the maintenance once it's developed.
Because I'm looking at How long is that path?
I don't have a dimension for you.
'Cause I mean, that's, I'm sure, many thousands of dollars.
Correct.
And once we get that, what I would say is, you know, we're donating land, and there's, I believe, another piece of land that's gonna go with this in the future. Because we're looking at all this green space here right now, right?
Mhm.
Because we did lose on the backside, we lost, and I don't know how they figure that the land's only worth $22,000, when if you look off of Gulf Drive, we could have probably got three more lots for sure, and they're real easy. And 3 lots in the city of Green Bay right now is worth $120,000.
This is the.
A piece?
Yeah.
125 a piece?
No,
Oh, all 3 together?
yeah,
Okay.
you know, and there again, it would just make sense if we'd have, but to make the whole deal work, you know. So we're losing 3 lots and the acreage, and then paying for a path, which, I don't know if that path was ever put in our agreement.
I was told by the planning department that it is in there.
See,
So I didn't sit in on any of the meetings with you in planning.
Yeah, I did, and I said we dedicate the land, but there was, never did I agree to pay for the path going all the way up. 'Cause, you know, there again,
Well, we can delay this and bring it back to planning and see what the,
Yeah, I think for our park committee, this is the first we've heard of it, and if there are issues here, we certainly can hold it up and have another meeting
Right.
with planning.
there again, I think we should get consideration for putting that path
Okay.
in.
So you want us to just hold it up at this point?
Please.
Okay.
I got a question. John, why are you donating the land?
It was part of our agreement to donate this land because Bears Creek Parkway was really well, you know what Bear Creek Parkway is. It's,
Right, I do.
and we wanted to, rather than have them fight against this whole thing, we just said, okay, let's.
Okay, so this was an agreement that you, okay.
Correct.
All
Our
right.
donation of the land was, but never was the putting the blacktop path in.
Right.
And if you take what that's gonna cost and the lots that we lost, I think we're looking at pretty much a fair swap, and
Okay. Is this land developable?
part of it is,
And part of it isn't?
correct.
Is more than 50% is?
No, not more than 50, I would say. Well, along Erie Road, we could have got a couple more lots in there also.
2, okay. All right. I was just wondering,
Yeah.
why, is it swamp or?
No, it just, they wanted the path to come up here, and there again, it was perfectly fine. But there again, we lost lots on Erie Road over here,
Mhm.
and then we lost lots there.
When you say loss,
Well, we can't, we weren't, well, they would have got in the way of the path.
okay, okay.
But
I
this is
see
the
what you
first I
mean.
heard of a pathway.
Okay.
that
So you
was-
can't do it, you can't do anything with it, so
No.
you want to donate it then?
Right.
Okay.
The
Because
idea-
I was gonna say, why don't you just develop the whole thing?
There again, we didn't wanna, we wanted to make the people of Bears Creek happy, so that, because that is part of the,
All right.
Right, the idea of something like this is to benefit the community, but also to benefit the development, you know, it's a kind of a mutual thing. Okay, so let's return to regular order of business. Motion by Alderman Manley, second by Alderman Nicholson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so then I'll
Motion
ask,
to hold
okay, the motion by Alderman
we'll bring it
Nicholson.
back. We'll bring it back.
next month
Yeah.
until you get a final agreement, and I would suggest someone from Park Department be involved with the meeting with Mr. Bunker and planning.
Okay.
Okay, good enough. Motion by Alderman Nicholson, second by Alderman Vanderleest. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 4, consideration with possible action on a cost study to renovate or build a new shelter at Fireland Park. Okay.
All right. So Alderman Moore brought this request forward at the May 10th Park Committee meeting, and the motion made at the meeting was for staff to research the cost of renovation versus new construction and bring it back to the Park Committee for discussion purposes. So a while ago, staff did meet with the neighborhood association to discuss their desires for the renovated shelter. Their main interest was enlarging the main activity room and make it about the same size as the shelter at Kennedy Park, which is about twice as big as the one at Farland. In addition, they wanted some electrical upgrades and some counter space added inside. The addition of an open shelter wing would be nice, but it's not their highest priority, but they definitely would see a benefit to that if it were included. Any major renovation, such as doubling the size of the of the building, would require that the restrooms become ADA compliant. And the current restrooms are not even close to being compliant. They would have to at least double in size in order to be compliant with ADA standards. And obviously, the most economical way to increase the bathroom size would be to remove the interior walls and basically build new walls in different locations and restructure the entire bathroom. And that would take away space from the main activity room. After the renovations, you'd end up with a main space of less than 400 square feet, which they would want something in the range of 800 square feet. So what you'd have to do then at that point to make the inside bigger would be to bump out the walls. And you'd have to bump out at least 2 of the walls, probably tear out down the entire roof and put all new trusses in there. So it'd be quite a major, substantial renovation to do that. So the question becomes at that point, is it worth the cost of renovation versus just building a new shelter? So in 2009, we did a similar renovation at Eastman. Now, we didn't increase the interior space. What we did is we renovated the bathrooms and basically bumped out the walls inside, and then we built an open shelter and added to the length of the building that way. The price for that in 2009 was $250,000, and that price was construction costs and architectural fees. In this case, we would have to hire an architect to determine what the cost is to renovate Farland to see if it'd be comparable in scope of work and cost. We don't have the capabilities to do that in-house, so we would have to contract that out. You know, for the cost to demolish the shelter and build a new one would likely cost over $400,000. The Parks Department, we're currently constructing a new shelter at Astor Park, and that total cost for construction and architectural fees came out to $420,000. Now, that was a little different type of shelter that had the open shelter wing, so again, we'd have to hire an architect and they'd have to give us a cost, but $400,000, $425,000 would be a good rough ballpark estimate for a new shelter. The final option would be to leave the existing shelter alone, except for a few minor renovations such as the counters and electrical, and then just build an open shelter off to the side. The cost to do that would probably be about $100,000 to build an open shelter and a walkway to it. This project is already listed on the Master Park Project list, so it's already been discussed in the past. And if desired, this project could move up in priority and be funded in 2018. But we would have those discussions. They would occur during the bonding process next spring.
Yeah.
So
what do you suggest?
at this point, what I would suggest is to receive and place on file the information we just gave you, and then we can discuss this in the bonding cycle next year.
Yeah, have those cost estimates been shared with all of the board?
No, they have not yet.
I think that would be a good idea to share it with him, because, you know, he's chairman of the finance committee, and he's aware of how tight the budget is for this type of projects, and also former member of this committee, so he knows what the process is. Are there people here who want to speak on this one? Okay, we'll have a
Motion to open up floor to
Alderman
interested
Nicholson,
parties.
second by Alderman Vanderleest, to hear from interested parties. Come on forward. And if you could give us your names and addresses for the record.
My name is Rosa E. Herrera. I am the president of the Old North Neighborhood Association. My address is 1465 Farland Avenue, Green Bay 54302.
My name is Mary E. Rubicki. I live at 1465 Farland Avenue. I'm the secretary of the Old North Neighborhood Association.
Well, thank you for coming.
Basically, what I want to discuss is to let the board know, the committee know, that Farland Park has not been used at all, that shelter, as far as the rental and stuff. So the city is losing money on the rental of that. Our community is becoming more and more an activity community. And this would definitely increase not only the use of the shelter. We've been asked for cotillions, we've been asked for baptisms. They're going up to Kennedy and using Kennedy. And we have a large Hispanic community which has a propensity of having parties or get-togethers, and that shelter is real small. We've used it twice ourselves to have our festival, and it is small. It is not well, I'm sorry, but it's not well kept inside. I think not only the city will benefit over the long run of renting it and everything, and also the community will have a place not to get together and come in there and use it. It's just sitting there, and I do believe that it would be worth it for us to look into at least the part of getting the architecture and get an idea of the cost of either renovating it or completely setting a shelter, and see if we could do something about it.
Do you have a preference?
We would prefer or to do a new shelter, because it's so small that we don't need to even go that big. We need it enough to where people can rent it as a party, to where they can come inside, they can have the cooking out inside, and a little dancing or something, or family reunion. It's too small for any of those. And they've called me and I've had to refer them to other parks. So I really do think that we should look into it.
Okay.
For community.
Just to explain, we have a list that's
I understand.
3 or 4 pages long of park projects that people have proposed, and every year when we look at how much money we have in bonding or CDBG money, we always try to see what the priorities should be, and projects like this don't happen overnight, but
Right.
excuse me, we got it on the list, and we will be looking at it again when the appropriate time comes. So I think that's about the best we can tell you tonight.
Okay, because we've been trying for 2 years and looking into possibility, and before it went up to number 3, are we now, or what number are we in the list for that?
I
It
can't
went up?
recall. It's about 3 or 4 in
Yeah.
the shelter renovations.
We were even willing to do some kind of fundraising and stuff like that, depending on what it was gonna cost and stuff, so. I really.
Yes, and the neighbors all agree that they would like to have something done because they would like to go down there and participate in different activities. And I remember years ago, that shelter was nice when they had the ice skating rink there. But, they can't put the ice skating rink back anymore, so.
Yeah, I remember being in the shelter, and it was
It
a
was
warm
nice.
shelter for ice skating. I presume this is in the CDBG eligible area.
Correct, it is.
Okay.
Typically, we get 150,000 each year to divvy up between the different parks.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be forwarding a copy of this report to Alderman Moore, and we've got it on our list, and we'll be looking at it again when the appropriate time comes, and see what we can do. Sometimes it does take a little while, but, we'll see what we can do. Alderman Nicholson.
Could you just repeat the cost of a new building for the association?
Yeah,
In case
at
they want to
Astor,
start
at Astor
fundraising?
Park, we're spending $420,000 to replace that shelter.
Okay, that would be considered, is it the same tax as our park would be? They're a little bit more upper class.
Really it comes down to
No.
construction costs are the
Oh,
same.
okay.
It doesn't matter
Okay.
what part of
Okay.
the city they're in. Now, in this case, the shelters would be a little bit different because that one has a smaller interior space with an open shelter off to the side, which isn't really what your neighborhood necessarily desires. So we'd have to hire an architect, and they'd have to do a preliminary conceptual plan and a cost for us. But that's a good rough number to use, since we're just, that's this year's cost.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate your time and thank you for bringing it up and everything, and thanks a lot. Hoping
Yeah.
to hear from you soon.
Thank you for being here. I think that's
Thank
all
you.
we can do. Are there any other questions?
No, motion to return to regular order of business.
Motion
Thank
by
you.
Alderman
Thank
Nicholson,
you.
second by Alderman Van Leest to return to the regular order of business.
Question for Donnie, Dave.
Yes.
How much
All in favor,
revenue-
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Opposed?
aye.
Okay.
How much
carries.
revenue are we losing by not renting out that shelter, would you say?
Well, if we rent it out during the time, it could be $150 a time,
Okay, 150,
maybe 8 times.
8 times. So we never really recoup our costs, would we?
No, we never do.
Oh,
No.
that's what I thought.
Not any
Okay.
of them.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Second.
Okay, motion to receive and place on file. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Director's report. We got a written report from Donnie and a lot of interesting things going on. What would you like to tell us
Well,
about?
okay, at the Finance Committee last night, a motion was made to have the Finance Director present some ways to bond and pay for the $1,250,000 of additional funding needed to produce Concept 4 for the Coburn Pool. And then they also recommended that we present this item to the council as a whole on July 18th, which is next Tuesday. So we'll be coming your way on Tuesday. I'm going to put packets in each mailbox so that you're aware of what Concept 4 is and the cost.
On that one, we did get an email from Alderman Weary that the Friends of Colburn Pool have secured commitments for $750,000 toward option 4. So the remainder that would be left would be about $1,250,000, if that's the case. Now, I don't know if they're still doing fundraising or if that's the final number. But Alderman Weary's not here to talk about it. I think it's something we can talk about at council. And so it ultimately comes down to whether there's support to do it. There was a feeling by Alderman Slottick, and I agreed that we really should get some feeling from the mayor as, so that we don't go and spend money on architectural costs and then have them veto it again down the line and not have enough support for it. So I intend to talk to him about it, and maybe he can give us his feelings, make his feelings known to us at council next week.
Dave, refresh my memory, there was a veto on that?
What's that?
You said there was a veto on that?
Well, on the original proposal to build a new pool at a cost of $6.8 million.
The mayor vetoed that?
The mayor vetoed it, and then the council did not override his veto. And that's really how we got to the point that we're at right now and looking at other options.
Sure don't remember a veto.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was
You
pretty memorable. John, you remember it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Discussing this here tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Speaking of Coburn, we've already experienced some mechanical breakdowns. As you know, we were down 3 days a couple weeks ago. It's just holding on, barely holding on. We have major leaks in the pool. We have
What pool is this?
Coburn.
Huh?
We have major issues with the heating units there. So, don't be surprised if we call you one day and say we're done. But we're going to try our best to keep it going, at least for this season. So that's where Coburn Pool is at. You all know we had a major fire at Whitney in the men's bathroom. So we're working on restoring that. Somebody went in and decided to light the bathroom tissue thing, and it was plastic, and it started the other plastic on fire in the bathrooms. So we're working on that, but so far I think we have now completed and we're back in there. Storm cleanups for June 10th, and we have over 50 trees that we had to deal with storm damage already. The east side crew is working at the Wilder area, and the west side crew is in the Fisk Park area. Currently, we have treated 1,100 trees for emerald ash so far this year. We received bids to replace a section of Fox River Trail north of the city deck. Work will begin in a few weeks. And we have a preliminary design has begun for the Seymour Park parking lot. As you know, we talked about that last time at the park committee. We didn't have money. We were going to refer it to CD funding. And then Alderman Moore came up with a solution with some additional money for the community development block grant, and we're looking into that to see if we can get this parking lot put in with some of those funds. The layout plan for the new playground equipment at Wilder has been completed. The new playground will be closer to the park from the school, Andy, just so you know.
Thank you.
And the park crews will begin taking down the old playground within the next 2 weeks, so you should see some activity there. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Alderman Van der
One
Leest.
question. On the ash borer treatment, to the people that live in front of the house, in other words, where the trees are in front of their homes, is there anything they have to do, or is it strictly, you just do the treatment and that's it?
Yeah, no, they don't have to do anything. That's handled by our forestry group.
I have a couple of questions on that from people that call. Years ago, they had those, remember they used to have those burlap bags and all that?
Yep, yeah.
Now, is that kind of old technology, or?
No,
Isn't that oak wilt?
well, for the emerald ash, we actually inject the tree. It's like these big needle things, and we inject it into the stem of the tree.
All right. That was my question, so thank you.
Do we have any feel for how we're doing with emerald ash borer? Are we
We're fighting the battle.
holding our own?
And no, actually, it's spreading throughout the whole city. We know now it's on the east side, and we've seen a lot more on the east side towards Bay Beach, towards Wilder, towards out by Bear Creek area. The John Muir area also is getting hit pretty heavy right now. So our foresters are monitoring the sites as they pop up and doing what they can to try to get ahead of it.
Now, our grant and our plans went for, what, 3 years or something? And then we have to apply again or evaluate it?
Right, well, how we got the chemicals to inject these trees is through a grant. And so we're trying that, and Brian, our forester, is way on top of it. There's actually some new things that are coming out on emerald ash where they actually release these little fly bugs, and they go and they eat the larvae of the emerald ash. So we're gonna look into some of that as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll take a motion to receive by Alderman Nicholson, second by Alderman Van der Leest, to receive and place in file the director's report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any further business to come before the committee? Okay, then we'll take a motion to adjourn by Alderman Van der Leest, seconded by Alderman Nicholson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.